what angers me is it feels like they're using my own oppression against me. Like they're weaponizing my own identity as a minority woman against me to benefit them. That's tokenism. This is not the video I had planned to film today. You know, I try to make my little video schedule, be all organized and prepared and know what I'm gonna post for the month. And then this one just slapped me in the face yesterday. This has happened to me a handful of times in my 11 years of content creation, where something in me just feels so utterly compelled to speak about something that I cannot hold it in. So this is going to be a true Molly rambles. I am just going to sit down and talk about something that has just been like really top of mind, really in my face lately, and I'm frustrated, and frankly, I'm angry. And the only thing that I've ever found is productive to do with my anger is turn that negative into a positive. Use that angry emotion and turn it into passion to create change, to further my advocacy. And I just have to believe that this is why it is happening so much to me again lately, is that the universe is like, Molly, you gotta do something about this. So that's why I am sitting down to talk about this. And I often say to my family and friends, like when I'm feeling super burnt out, which full disclosure, feeling a little burnt out this week. And when I'm feeling burnt out, oftentimes my friends and family remind me like, you can pull back, you can stop anytime. And the reality is like, this isn't a job to me. This isn't a job that I clock in and clock out of. This feels like I am compelled to do this. This is a passion more than it is work. And you don't just stop advocacy. You don't just stop your passion. Like this is something the universe has done to me and I use it for good. And so today I want to talk about mission washing, which is something a lot of people have probably never heard of. This, you know, we've heard the term greenwashing. I think that's something a lot of us are familiar with. So greenwashing refers to when companies overstate or overmarket how eco-friendly, sustainable, organic a product is, like shampoo, to make people buy it without looking further. You believe the greenwashing marketing, you buy it, and then it turns out, oh, it's actually all just sales tactics. It's not like as green as they're stating it is. Mission washing is where large companies, corporations, startups use the good cause that they are working towards as a manipulative tool for you to accept less than you are worth. This happens to many marginalized people who speak about different minority issues. So this is not exclusive to disabled people. This can happen to BIPOC people, to LGBTQ plus people, but I am obviously sharing my perspective as a disabled woman who advocates about disability. In case you're new here and just stumbled upon this video, I'm blind, I am a business owner, I am a public speaker. I have been public speaking since I was 5 years old. I have been doing it semi-professionally since I was 15, and I've been doing it full-time professionally since I was 18. I am now 31. So I have been a public speaker for over 25 years. As I mentioned, I've been a content creator for 11 years and have been doing it full-time professionally for, I want to say, about 8 now. I am also an author. I had an audiobook come out many years ago, and I now have a full memoir coming out September 23rd. Those are my credentials. I have been a professional in my space for a very long time. I am not new to advocacy, and I am not new to any of the things that people hire me to do. I am not starting out in any of these realms.
Not only are you not just starting out, you are a leader in most of these spaces, if not all of these spaces.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate you saying that. It's very kind. I would not say that myself.
It's just fact.
And I think a lot of people look at a lot of the work that I do and a lot of people in my space and don't necessarily see the machine that is behind it. So just for context, I have 3 people that work full-time for me, and their entire income is from my business. I own a corporation. Every contract I have with a business is signed through my corporation. The money hits my corporate account, not my personal account, not even an LLC, a business, a C Corp. S Corp? C Corp. I always get the two confused.
You're a C Corp.
C Corp?
Yeah.
It goes into that account. Then that account pays my salary and pays the other people. And then on top of the 3 people who work pretty much full-time for me, I have other people that are contract workers, so on a case-by-case project basis that I pay. And then I also have a manager, a speaking agent, and a literary agent. All 3 of those respective people take between 20 to 25% of everything I earn. So every speaking client that I book, 25% goes to my speaking agent. Every single brand deal I do, 20% goes to my manager. When I secure a book deal, that percentage goes off to my literary agent. All before the money hits my bank account and I then pay everybody. So that's right off the top, and then everything else gets filtered down. I say that to say, this is a business. I am a professional. I'm an entrepreneur who owns a company that has expenses. And I would say this is very much not a cheap business to run. And I think a lot of people forget that because, yes, I'm just a girl sitting on my bed in my bedroom, in my apartment that I rent, just sit down and chit-chatting. There is so much behind the scenes that go on to make all of this happen, right? Like, I don't edit this video. Somebody gets paid to edit this video. So even this video where there's no brand deal attached to it, I am paying for it. And AdSense is, not reliable. So we don't know how much this video will make. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, right? So all that to just explain like the inner workings of me, my specific personal business. This is a difficult topic to talk about because I don't want to come off as bitter or as entitled. But at the end of the day, like I said, like anger is definitely fueling this conversation. So if bitterness comes out, it's not because I feel entitled. It is because I am angry for my community. Because this isn't just something that impacts me. It impacts so many people in the advocacy space. And it's really frustrating. I completely recognize that I hold a lot of privilege. Just running a business like I do. Being able to employ people is a privilege. It's a very stressful privilege, but it is a privilege. And I do understand that. But it's also important to remember that I wasn't always in this position. I have been at every point until this position, right? Like I have been extremely broke, really struggling. I've been on government assistance for disability, and I've been where I am today. So I have experienced every part of the entrepreneurial journey to get to where I am today. And where I am today has been a combination of luck. I am very fortunate for where I am today, but I don't want...
You make your own luck with preparation and opportunity and
right.
hard work. I hate the word luck.
I know. Well, I was just going to say, but equally I don't want to discount myself because I have worked really, really damn hard to be where I am today. And I'm extremely proud of that. And I continually work hard because this business doesn't continue to succeed if I don't continue to work my booty off to keep things going, to keep things moving along, to continue to reinvent myself and pivot and enter new spaces.
Not only working really hard, but being extremely good at what you do and offering a lot of value and talent. So
thank you. I appreciate that. So mission washing is something I've experienced the entirety of my career, but it has been 5 times in the past week. When I was prepping to do this video, it had been 4 times, and then just like that, another email came in my inbox. 5 times now in a week that companies have asked me to do my job for free or for little to no pay. And it's insulting. And a lot of the time, the way they frame it is that it's for a good cause. Is that I should do it because I'm passionate about the mission of their company. Passion doesn't pay bills, and I can be passionate and compensated for my work the way that you reaching out and asking me to do this for free are being compensated for that work. You work for the company. One of these companies is like owned by private equity. One of these companies sells their products at mass scale for minimum like $1,000+ up to like $50,000. These are not like small niche brands. These are not small business owners asking me to like do a story shouting out the necklace they made me. I'm happy to support my followers' small businesses. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about major companies with hundreds of employees who are hiring regularly, who have storefronts, who are doing business on major scale. But what they are asking me to do is to promote some form of accessibility, or come in and speak to their company about universal design, or do social media to promote this thing that they're doing to be inclusive. And they want me to do it for free, or for far less than I generally would get paid for that work, or that any other person at my level would ever be offered. And to use this manipulative language of like, we work with people who are passionate about what we do, but we don't really have a big budget. It's so irritating. And when they dance around the topic of like fee or budget, and they like upfront it with all of these caveats, I know what they're doing. They're setting it up so that I now feel like I must prove that I am doing this advocacy for the right reason. I must prove that I believe in what you're doing. I believe in that mission. I think I've proven that. I have been outspoken since I was 5. So much of the advocacy work that I do is free. I'm not being paid to make this video. I don't get any money at all from posting on Instagram or TikTok. 0. I am not in the creator rewards, nothing. I get no money. I post 5 times a week on both of those platforms, educational content. That's free. I am doing that without pay. And I frankly do very few brand deals on those platforms either. So most of my advocacy work is free. And when I started out as a speaker, I spoke for the first 10 years for no money. When I then decided I wanted to make this my career, what I did was I would offer to speak for free in exchange for a testimonial, a referral, and the ability to film it so I could use it as promotion. Then, when I went up another level, I asked for an honorarium. So whatever you could afford. If that's $50, if it's $500, whatever you can afford, I'll speak for an honorarium. Then it became a small fee. Then the fee became bigger as I was more experienced and as my audience and my topics changed.
As you became a leader in your space and grew a huge following of people who listen to you and value your opinion.
That's how growing a business works. I wasn't always paid what I am today, but I've gone to a place where XYZ is my fee that I am regularly paid. So for you to come to me as a major company and say, can you do that same thing you're regularly paid for free for us? Just because we don't value disability enough to allocate a budget for it, but we believe in it enough that we want you to come talk about it.
Or we just got millions of dollars from private investors.
And we're hiring weekly, but we don't have a budget to pay you to make social media content to promote our product. We were hoping you'd just believe in our mission enough that you would do it for free.
Or we're really struggling financially, but we also just bought up a different company for $1 billion. Mm-hmm. Billion. I didn't say million.
Yep.
But we don't have any budget to pay you.
But we don't have any budget to pay you.
But if you cared about it, you would.
You would just do it because you care. If you cared about disability, you would pay disabled people their goddamn worth. And the reality is, so much of what I advocate for is paying disabled people their worth, is hiring inclusively, hiring disabled people. So for me to then say, oh, sure, I'll do that for free, just because I believe in it, is undermining everything I stand for. And if I'm willing to accept the work for free or for way less than I am worth, then I'm not really proving to anybody that disabled people are of value. If you value everybody else at that company who is paid for their job, then you can value my work and pay accordingly for me. Because I am certain that while you work at this company, you're not working for free out of the goodness of your heart because you simply believe in the mission. I'm fairly certain you're working for a salary, and those two things are not mutually exclusive, right? You can care about the mission, but but also clock in every day because you're being paid to be there. It's like you're asking me to do social media content for you or to come speak at your company because you perceive that I have value that I'm adding. And you will get something out of me. I will not be manipulated. What angers me is it feels like they're using my own oppression against me. Like they're weaponizing my own identity as a minority woman against me to benefit them. That's tokenism.
Tokenism, exactly. They're acting as if they want to help your community, but they won't help you. So they actually they don't want to actually help the community. They want to look like they're helping the community so they get more sales while not actually caring about the community.
Or pick my brain about how they could design their product better and then build said product and make more sales and not pay me for that expertise I provided.
That they couldn't have gotten anywhere else because they needed to reach out to you, the person who's the leading expert in the field.
You guys, I was literally asked by this major company yesterday to not only speak for free, but to donate my book as well. Meaning I would be essentially paying to speak because I have to buy my own book. And so I would have to buy my book from my publisher, donate it to you, and then take time out of my day from things that might pay me to work for free for you to what? Then how pay my staff? How do I pay for my business to keep running? If all my work is free labor, I'm on the streets. Disabled people deserve employment. And what really triggered me is that if this is happening at my level, that means this is absolutely continuing to happen at every level. And even at my level, I have moments where I feel like I have imposter syndrome, or I feel like I have been so conditioned by this mentality my whole life that even I'm like, well, should I do it for the opportunity? When in reality, the opportunity, they're getting more of an opportunity than I am. The exposure, they're getting more out of me than I'm getting exposure. At this point in my career, I don't need exposure.
You give other
that doesn't pay
exposure.
My bills.
The exposure is one of the things you bring to the table for your clients.
It's like insane. It's so frustrating, and I'm like pissed off that this continues to happen at this day and age. And again, I know that this is something that's happening to everybody who's in the advocacy space. And it's ridiculous. And this is very different than like a charity asking me. Like, I want to make it so clear, these are major corporations that I'm talking about. I'm not going to name and shame because I'm just not that person. But these are major companies who, I assure you, have money. And I think it's so triggering to me because a big thing I talk about in my book is the first full-time job I had from 18 to 20. And the reality, I really pull back the curtain on how glamorous that career looked on the outside to how toxic it was in reality. And mission washing was a massive, massive part of the conditioning that I and pretty much everybody else who worked there went under. Is this like, you should accept ridiculously intense expectations of work hours because we're doing it for the good of other people. Best believe the people who ran that company were making bank. They were making fat money. And then they're telling you that you should be doing it because you believe in the cause. It is so toxic. It is so manipulative. I remember seeing this TED Talk years ago, and if I can find it, I'm going to link it below because it was so good. And it was saying how charities get criticized when they pay the CEO 6 figures. But if you want a successful charity, you should pay the CEO 6 figures because that means that it's somebody who's very talented, who's worked their way up, who really understands what they're doing. And if they're earning 6 figures as their salary, it's because they're bringing in so much more for the charity than the charity would be bringing in with a CEO that's making $40,000. People should be paid according to their value that they provide. If that CEO, even if it's of a charity, is providing way more ultimate end benefit to the organization, then it's a write-off. Like, it balances out tenfold. By the way, link below to pre-order Unseen, How I Lost My Vision, Found My Voice, to hear all the tea. There's a lot of untold stories that I'm terrified for you to read, but I wrote it, so it's too late now. Talking about that organization in this book is one of the things that I am most scared about because I felt so silenced by them for so long, and I felt like I couldn't share what happened to me out of fear. And I am genuinely still scared. But I cannot let my fear stop me from telling my truth, especially because I know that it will help people out there. And that's why I'm doing it. I'm not telling my story to tear these people down. I'm telling my story to help people who feel put in the same position that I felt trapped in. The reality is, it makes me so angry because ultimately what this says is society still continues to not view disabled people as enough. And to throw this rhetoric of like, it's a good opportunity for you. Opportunities don't pay the bills. A community that is 70 to 80% unemployed in this country, a community that is often living in poverty, you see their value, but not enough to pay them for it. You see their value, but you want to continue to let them be in that circumstance. And it is incredibly frustrating. And we live in a country where it is still legal to pay disabled people less for the same work if their disability, quote, impacts their productivity. But in a world where people get paid smoke breaks, how are we viewing productivity? So like, it's okay to be paid to go on your smoke break for 15 minutes, but a disabled person who maybe needs 10 extra minutes to get the same job done is allowed legally to be paid cents on the dollar. And I just can't help but feel the same way I feel about so many disability issues, that if in this country, this was the law for any other minority, if this was about sex, gender, race, religion, that we could pay somebody cents on the dollar, there would be riots. Like, this law would have been changed a long time ago. But everybody just forgets disability rights, just forgets that we matter. And it just feels like in a world where we have worked so hard to be where we are today, and we feel like we've made so much progress, it's this slap in the face reminder that there's so far we still have to go. And on one hand, it's exhausting, and I'm fed up. And on the other hand, I know that it continues to fuel me to keep going, to keep fighting. It feels like my job will never be over. And I want my job to be over. To be very clear, I would love to live in a world where there's no need for my work anymore. But it feels like we're so far off from that happening. I think it's 14C.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been in existence for 86 years, I believe.
Wow.
And we've just let it keep going.
It's at $3.50 an hour, less than half of the national minimum wage.
Yeah. That's literally the law. Like,
and it's completely arbitrary. They get to decide whether or not you're disabled. Or
right. Like what this productivity, and that's why I'm saying, like, how do we value productivity? Like, what's the line for that? How do you determine that?
And we've already determined the minimum wage is like the minimum you can survive on. Like, that's the whole point.
Correct. Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
Which means if you're saying the minimum wage is, say, like $7.50 or whatever, then that's how much the minimum productivity should be paid, and then anything more should be more than that.
Yes.
So disabled people should receive the minimum, and if you're more productive, then you only get paid more, not like less for the minimum amount of work you can do.
But again, it begs the question, like, what is productivity,
I'm
right?
Not saying
like,
that's how we should do it, but I'm saying we shouldn't be paying people less than living wages.
Right, especially when we're then going to give, what, $600 from the government a month, and then tell you, oh, but if you exceed XYZ income, you're cut off. So do you want disabled people to work or not?
You literally can't survive on that.
No.
You're not even close.
You can't survive on either. It's like you can't survive if you're working for $3.50 an hour, and you can't survive if you're making $600 a month, and you can't survive doing both because one will cut you off.
I mean, even people who make minimum wage need 2 jobs. Need to work like 2 shifts a day.
Right.
So now you want a disabled person to work 4 shifts a day to be able to survive?
At the end of the day, I know no matter how many caveats I give, there will still be people who misconstrue what I'm saying and think that I'm like looking for sympathy or woe is me, poor me, I'm so hard done by. That is, again, not at all what this is about. This is about the fact that this is a manipulative practice that disabled people and advocates are falling victim to every single day. If those companies can pay their employees, then they can pay you your value for whatever it is they are requiring for you to do. If I, at my level, still feel like I sometimes fall victim to this manipulation tactic, then I absolutely know that other people in my community are, and it is not okay. I want you to be so solid in your value. You matter, your voice, your opinion, your expertise is worth just as much as anybody else in that boardroom, and do not forget that. You deserve to be paid adequately for your work. That is what equity is. If anything, frankly, you have more value than the average Joe Schmo walking down the street because you have a unique perspective. You have a unique life experience. And that provides unique insights, which is why they're hiring you, because they think your unique insights are valuable. And they can pay for that value the way everybody else gets paid for their value.
That value is like higher than the average person because it's rare.
Rare things are worth more. So your rare perspective is worth at bare minimum equal to what they would pay a non-disabled person for that same work. And this whole, it's a great opportunity for you is quite literally just manipulation to keep you down. That's all it is. And like I said, there'll still be people, you should do it out of the goodness of your heart. That doesn't pay bills. I do so much out of the goodness of my heart. How do you think I got to where I am today? Half of my work still to this day is free advocacy. But I still have bills to pay like everybody else. And even if we remove me, it's a community-wide issue. And at the end of the day, I finished my TED Talk that I did recently. Did a TEDx talk. It's not out yet. As soon as it is out, I will be sharing it. But I finished that talk by saying my topic was universal design in the beauty industry. And I finished by saying, disability drives innovation and innovation drives results. And I believe that. So if we're using disabled people to help create innovation, and that innovation drives results in increased sales, in increased positive brand affinity, and all of these other things that we measure, then that disabled person deserves to be paid for that contribution, point blank period. And if you still don't get it and you're like, I don't see how disabled people drive innovation, curb cut phenomenon, go Google it. I'm not going to explain it to you. There's a gajillion examples of how something was designed to be accessible for a disabled person and became widely used and acquired by non-disabled people because they found it convenient. What am I thinking of? A straw? Yeah, the straw you drink out of, that was designed for disabled people.
The captions you're watching on this video because you don't want to listen to the audio and you're on the train right now?
Disabled people. The curb cut that slopes down so it's easy with your stroller or your suitcase or your bike or your skateboard. Disabled people. It goes on and on. Audiobooks. Blind people. You're welcome. I'm so glad you enjoy listening to them when you're on your road trip or when you're doing your laundry. There's a million examples of how disability drove innovation that benefited society at large.
Hey Alexa, what time is it?
It's 3:32 p.m.
Great, now we know the time and can ask Alexa because of disabled people.
Okay.
I just get so frustrated by a world that no matter how much value we show we have, continues to devalue us, continues to undervalue us, and act like that's not insulting.
Great.
All right, gotta go donate some books. I know that based on the algorithm, this is likely to just end up in the echo chamber where I'm ranting into the void of people who already understand these issues and who already agree. And the reality is, unfortunately, that doesn't make change. It makes us feel seen and heard and understood and less alone, but it doesn't make change. And I really, really, really want to make change because mission washing is not okay. And I'm just asking you that if you feel inclined to please share this video with your wider circle, share this with your community, so we can hope that this makes it into the right hands. And since I've spent half my week on useless meetings of people offering for me to work for free for them and not actually focusing on the work that does pay me, I need to keep paying my bills, so please pre-order the book. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, you can click here for another Molly Rambles or over here for this reaction video reacting to people faking their disabilities.